My name is Grace Shang, and I am the program manager for the One Hub. And we are very happy and very excited to launch our first Lunch and Learn series today. As part of the One Hub program, we developed this Lunch and Learn series to be both informational and inspirational for anyone that wants to start a business, or maybe somebody that is already, in the early stages of a business. So we hope by listening to our guest speaker today, you will be inspired to learn more about entrepreneurship, and that's where One Hub comes in. So I'm going to just give a little spiel about One Hub. One Hub stands for the Ottawa Newcomer Entrepreneurs Hub. And as you can see, that's our banner over there. And we are funded by IRCC in a 5-year program. We are here to support the social and economic integration of aspiring entrepreneurial newcomers. So we connect clients with training, mentorship, business coaching, financial options, work shadowing, and networking opportunities. And I recognize there's quite a few clients of ours from One Hub already. So all of you are already familiar with what we do. So we're also comprised of a coalition of 3 key partners, which is being World Skills, OCISO, and OCLF. After today's session, if you want to learn more about One Hub, or if we're going to be having information and orientation session on Tuesday, April 27th at 10:30 to 12 o'clock. So by all means, come and join us to listen more about what we do. You can contact our intake, assessment, and referral counselor, Sarah Tavasoli, who is on the screen today, and in order to register for One Hub or to register for the info session. And Sarah has included her coordinates in the chat box right now. So during this session, our moderator, Tatanisha Regan, will be interviewing our guest speaker. And she is Juwana Abu-Zeinah. Think about it. Sorry, Joanna, for the first 20 minutes or so. And then afterwards, you as the audience will have an opportunity to ask her some questions too about her business. Now I'm going to introduce you to Tatanisha. So Tatanisha is our mentorship coordinator for One Hub. And as such, she helps immigrant entrepreneurs refine and elevate their business ideas by matching them with volunteer mentors from the Canadian business community. She also runs the One Hub alumni program, which fosters a growing community of engaged immigrant entrepreneurs who support each other through peer communication channels and networking opportunities. So now I'm going to turn it to Tatanisha, and she can introduce our guest speaker.
Thank you for the introduction, Grace. That was amazing. So yes, I'm so excited for all of you to meet Juwana Abu-Zeinah. She is the founder and creative director of Runaway Picnic. That's Ottawa's first luxury pop-up picnic. And it was created out of a response to the isolation so many of us have experienced as a result of the COVID-19 lockdowns. And so Runaway Picnic was launched to introduce a new intimate dining experience where you have fancy picnics that can be set up anywhere in Ottawa, even in your own home, just so you feel like you've escaped into a beautiful retreat or you're away from all of life's worries, even for a few hours. And so I'm very happy to introduce you to Juwana. I'll spotlight her so everyone can see her.
Thank you so much.
So thank you. Juwana, you're so welcome. Please tell us a little bit more about your business. And while you do that, I will show everyone your beautiful website.
Thank you. So I started Runaway Picnic after working from home, and I actually work as an interior architect and a designer. So having to work from home because of the pandemic has caused a lot of stress on my end, because when you're a person who's very active and social, suddenly you're stuck in a house and you can't move around. And it just brought a lot of mental stress on my end. And I wanted to have a creative outlet in addition to my job so that I can find some peace and happiness because I couldn't travel. So I started doing picnics for myself just as a form of self-care. And people used to see me on the parks, on the beaches, wherever I'd go, and they'd be so curious about what I was doing. And they would ask me if I was doing a business, if I can actually do this service and offer it to the public. And because of so many comments and so much public feedback over the past year, I decided that I wanted to launch this business and create this because I felt Ottawa really deserves some kind of a runaway experience and something that can make them forget about the pandemic, even though if it's just for a few hours. So the idea of Runaway Picnic started with just basically as a way to solve an issue for myself. And then it later on went and expanded to actually cater to serve Ottawa in general. And it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, or what kind of event you want. It's perfect for the pandemic because it's more catered towards an intimate experience, basically within your own bubble or with your close family and friends. So the way that it goes is we design the picnic and we have 3 themes that you can pick from. And it can be placed anywhere in Ottawa. So we set up in the beach, at the park, in the middle of the forest if you want, or even if you want, we can do it in your backyard or your living room. Basically, the sky's the limit almost. And you have this beautiful rental of the picnic setup, like with a large table and pillows. And then you have the food coming around. So there's a lot of variety that's being offered and lots of services as well that you can have with your picnic. And it's if you go to our website, it's a very simple process and it takes you through each step by step in terms of like how you operate and what are the steps. Right now you are seeing the different things that we're offering. So like the boho chic is one option, and we can also offer our picnics in a relaxed, cozy setup or a luxury dining experience. So you have like 2 options to pick from as well. And we also have like a romantic luxury and an oriental charm theme. And they're all custom designed by me. So everything is high quality, high end, and it's really a luxury experience that people can experience in a different format, essentially.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. That's amazing.
Thank you.
I have a few questions for you just to really understand your journey, and if you could share with us more about some of the things that you've overcome in this process. My first question for you is, where did you develop your entrepreneurial spirit? Where did that come from?
I feel like I've always wanted to create something for myself, and it really didn't come at one point in my life. Like it was always in me, but I found that recently because of the pandemic and all, I really wanted to create something that was different. And it came out of as a way to solve a problem that I was seeing. So I didn't really plan like, okay, I'm going to start a business and it's going to be a picnic business essentially, because I do work. So I didn't really think about that. But when I saw that there was such a big gap in the market and there was nothing to do because of the pandemic, the COVID situation. So I felt like I should do something. As a designer, I should like react to the situation and try to help people in a different format as well.
That's amazing. It sounds like it's a combination of your creativity as well as your passion of helping other people that all came together to respond. And so my next question for you is, can you tell us more about where the idea derived from for this business?
Yeah, so the idea first started with me trying to find an escape for myself. I felt like my creativity was being drained because there was nothing to do, or you can't experience any kind of experiences out there in Ottawa since the restaurants are closed. There's no way for you to go out or travel. Travel was banned for some time, right? So I started trying to like think about creating a small mini event for myself and my family. basically I wanted to like make my family happy because everybody was stressed out. And I did that small event. I was like, okay, we'll take a trip somewhere. I'll book a cottage, and then we're going to do something really special, just like a small dining picnic. And the idea went from there, honestly. Like, people started seeing me in the parks, and they started to approach me, and like, we really want to have this kind of experience.
Wow, we're very lucky
Yeah.
that you came across this and that you really want to do something special for your family. It's amazing how it's evolved. My next question for you is where or how do you define success for yourself? Everyone defines success differently. So I'm very curious to know for you, how has that evolved? And, you know, do you expect that that's going to change over time?
I think defining success is relative because, in my opinion, it's really about making a positive impact and change. That's how I view it. My Runaway Picnic business, essentially, it's more of a social project, and it's aiming to help people's mental health, elevate their lives a little bit, bring people together like within their bubble so that you don't have more negative effects on your mental health or other aspects in your life. Essentially, it's more about community building as well, because in my experience, I've been working with other vendors, and I've always tried to like work with local vendors as well, because I feel like if you're building a community, it's good to start with your local network and expand by that. So success is really by building successful relationships, and also by having a positive impact on your clients and on your city as well.
Wow, that's amazing. A lot of good tidbits there around networking and supporting local. My next question for you is around some of the moments that you have in your business and something you've experienced so far. What would you say has been the most satisfying moment that you've come across in this journey?
Oh, this is an easy question. It's definitely seeing the reaction of my clients when they see the picnic set up, like having their partners or their friends or even parts of their family members come in and invite them to the surprise picnic that they're seeing in the middle of the forest or even at their backyard. And just being overwhelmed with this beautiful setup that's made specifically for them. And just seeing that's priceless in my opinion. It's like, it's worth all of the hard work, all of the back of the house networking and making sure everything is worked up and the event is a success. It's really based on the reactions, and seeing that they're actually truly happy and satisfied makes me really happy.
Wow, that I don't know if anybody else has gotten chills, but that sounds completely magical. Really, really magical. And so let's go back to the idea around networking. What are some main principles you follow to build a solid network around yourself and your business?
So I try to always work with the best. This is my policy. I try, basically my business is based on having a very good high-end experience. So that means I have to work with the best. I have to have the best materials, best food, best quality. Even, for example, like if you go down to the simple behind the scenes of what I do, like when I designed Runaway Picnic, it took me a long time for me to figure out everything because I was very specific about how I wanted my business to be like. So I custom designed my own wood table. I built it. I sourced products and materials and inventory that's of high quality grade because I really wanted people to feel like they are in this luxurious experience instead of feeling like, oh, it's just like a transient picnic or something that's not really what I'm for. And for networking, I always try to allow other vendors to work with me. I like to give the opportunity to
Oh, it seems like your network has been sabotaged.
Oh, can you hear me?
Can hear you a bit better.
Okay.
Yes, you're back. Go ahead.
Okay, great. So I don't know where it stopped, but
you were talking about giving opportunities to.
Yeah. I think this is a way that Runaway Picnic operates. We try to work with multiple vendors and give opportunities, whether it's a photographer or like local food vendors, or even suppliers for other miscellaneous items. We even like do work with musicians as well and artists. So we're trying to like expand our offerings and make sure that we always deliver something that's really high end, but also very intimate, and in packages that people can actually afford. But there's always room for lavish events as well, if you want that. Lavish, intimate picnic events, you can say.
Mm-hmm. I love you prioritizing quality, prioritizing connections, and giving opportunities to others and paying it forward. I think that's amazing. Really good values to structure a business on. So that's great.
Thank you.
This next question can be more personal, or it could be business related, but what would you say, or I should say, who has been your greatest inspiration?
Oh, so I think when I look at what I've been doing, I think like one of the biggest inspiration is basically me. I feel like it's a challenge to always overcome what I've done before in the past and try to build a better character, try to always improve. So I always look and reflect of what I've done in the past and what I've accomplished, and always try to build on that, because I think you are your biggest critique. And if you're able to always criticize and work on improving yourself, I think that's a great inspiration method. Obviously, I am inspired by other great designers and other elements in nature. Like I'm always inspired by nature whenever I go on hiking. So the idea of the picnics actually came because I was hiking around and I wanted to get away from this room and the household, the whole stay-at-home orders. So it really depends. Like the question can have different answers, but one of the biggest inspirations is definitely like seeing my old self and trying to improve and be able to channel something that's very creative and also giving back in some way.
Wow, that's amazing. I think a lot of us can resonate with that. You know, it's in the entrepreneurial space, comparison can hold you back sometimes. But when you can try to level up from what you've done before, you know, that definitely puts you in a different sphere.
Yeah.
And so thank you for that response. My next question's a little bit more around advice giving, and given what you've got through so far and what you've been able to accomplish and who you've connected with, I'm wondering if you have a piece of advice for newcomers starting out. What's something that you would share to them if they want to be an entrepreneur?
So I have went through a very challenging experience myself as an immigrant coming to Canada, and finding a job was extremely difficult on my end. Because you're coming in from a different country and nobody knows about you when you're coming from a different background. So what helped me get into the field that I am in is basically having a mentor, and also understanding that you have to start from something and you have to be extremely passionate about what you're doing, and you have to keep faith, and you have to always be resilient, because you're going to get through so many storms and people are going to try to push you. But you have to show your value and you have to keep on moving and pushing. Do whatever it takes so that you can actually get to what you want, because if you're strong enough, you'll make it. It just takes a bit of time.
Mm-hmm. No, that makes a lot of sense. And I hear you around the challenges for a lot of newcomers in finding work. That can be incredibly daunting and really weigh on their identity and where they saw themselves, where they imagined they'd be when they arrived. So I think what you're saying is really important to remember, you know, to persevere, to have a network of mentors available to you, to be able to help you see gaps that you are not able to see. So thank you for sharing that. Oh, please go ahead.
Is also when you come in, like a lot of newcomers, when they come to Canada, they try to stay within their own social background instead of like moving out, because they feel like it's more comfortable. But my tip is try not to, because believe it or not, when you try to expand your network and you go beyond what you've known in your cultures and you try to get out of that comfort zone, it's going to really help you. Yes, it's good to have that support because you know each other's languages, you know each other's cultures, but it's also good to reach out to other connections, other networks, and try to learn from them, and they'll also learn from you because you always have something new to bring to the table.
I love that piece around they can learn from you as well.
Yeah.
You know, when you're opening up, you have value to bring. You can contribute just as much as you can, you know, receive. So that's a really good element to bring up. My last question to you is, what key activities would you recommend entrepreneurs invest their time and effort in right now? And, you know, this answer can reflect on the pandemic. This can reflect on just entrepreneurship in general. So go right ahead.
So I feel that having a mentor is key to working out the whole waters. But also I feel that you need to see something that's missing in the market. If you want to build a business or you want to be an entrepreneur, or even if you just have like some kind of an idea you want to share with the world, take a look at what's going on in your city, in the country, and see what's the gap, like what is truly missing from the industry, and try to find a solution. Be the inventor. If not, try to like create something that would alleviate the whole issue and provide a solution. Because if you're just going to copy someone else, or if you're just going to do the same idea that the neighbor is doing, you're not going to be different. Yes, you'll have your own name behind it, but it's not going to have an impact because you haven't really created something that's totally different or that's improving people's lives. I think one of the biggest issues is that most people, when they want to build a business, they don't understand that value is very important to build on and promote. You have to give a lot in order to get, and you have to also make sure that whatever you're doing has to come from you. Essentially, it has to be original and authentic. For example, with Runaway Picnic, I saw that there was nothing in Ottawa for us to do during the pandemic. We were asked to stay at home. Okay, great. We were asked to have our own bubble and just stay at home and not do anything. It was great. Sure, we were taking our precautions, but the thing is, a lot of people were actually having lots of issues at home and people were not feeling safe. Some people were actually feeling depressed, and that was being counterproductive because you can't work, you can't do anything, right? And there was nothing, like there was no events anymore. There was no traveling. There were no restaurants that were open. Parks were closed for some time even. So I felt that there was something missing. Like, what if we can create an intimate experience for your bubble or for your close family, or even for yourself if you just want to have something and feel like you went on this luxurious escape, even though you haven't left the city. Maybe you went to the park next door, or you went on the highway and you found a nice spot there and you just parked and maybe you set up a picnic there, right? You feel like you traveled somewhere and you're in this luxurious retreat. So I thought, okay, well, let's do this. Let's offer it to Ottawa because I saw there was an appetite for this. And I went on and I created it. And I'm so happy because seeing people's reactions and seeing how much people really want this, and when it's being realized and they actually get that service provided to them, it's just a totally different perspective when you see it. You realize, like, this is great because I am doing this to help others as well. Because this only started because of the idea of helping others and creating an escape. Remember, I'm also working as a designer as well. So I just really wanted to create some kind of a social impact with the Runaway Picnic.
Yeah. I like that message in focusing on problems that affect you, focusing on problems that affect you as an authentic person, you know, and figuring out how you can bring value to something like that and bring that as a form in some sort of solution. And so all of us are impacted by this in different ways, and we see challenges and we see the problem from different angles because we are different. So I think that's a really interesting message. What I'm going to do now, actually, before I do, I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to be here and sharing your insights for our first Lunch and Learn, first of many, I'm sure. And I hope every one of you have had some sort of insight or tidbit to take with you from this session until our next one. And so I just want to ask you a few questions. Everyone in the audience, I'm going to put a poll up, and it's going to be launching now. Feel free to answer. The first question is, are you actively seeking opportunities to network with other immigrant entrepreneurs? And then the following question is, are you likely to participate in one of our events in the future? So here you are. Go ahead and answer. Wow, this is great. This is really, really great. So I know we have at least one question already situated in the chat for the Q&A. So once you've answered the poll question, please go in the chat and ask your question to Juwana about entrepreneurship, about her business, maybe something that's a burning question you've had regarding your business and you want to see some insights. I'm sure she'll do her best to answer, but of course we can connect you with other resources if need be. Wow, so it looks like a lot of people are actively seeking opportunities to network, which is fantastic because, you know, as per our discussion, you know, we see the value in connecting with people and seeing things from diverse perspectives. All right, so we have more questions in the chat. I'm going to end the poll now. There we go. I think everyone can see the results of that. Perfect. So keep that in mind. You know, if you're looking, other people are also looking. Don't be afraid to break out of your own social circle. Feel free to take risks. One Hub is here to facilitate connections just like this and others in terms of making connections, making space for you to talk about what you're working on or what you hope to be working on. So we're going to have more of that in the future. Let's go into Q&A session. So Andrea is helping us in the chat. We have our, Andrea, would you like to let us know what the first question is? Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. And thanks, Juwana, for sharing all of that.
So
the first question we have here in the chat comes from Kelly. And I think you touched a little bit on this, but we would love to get some details around the food that you get, like what kind of partners you have, you know, to have your picnics and around that, like local partners.
Yeah, so basically for food, we deal with local restaurants and catering groups. So everything has to be licensed in terms if it's handled with food. So according to the city of Ottawa, so you have to be licensed in order to serve food. So we do deal with lots of local restaurants and catering groups. And there are like a variety of the ones that we deal with. So in terms of food options, we offer charcuterie boards, we offer cake, desserts, anything that can, sushi as well, like high-end sushi. We really like the idea of high-end items. So we deal with lots of well-established restaurants in the city and catering groups. But basically, in terms of food, it could be anything that does not spoil outside in the weather, in the elements, and it doesn't need refrigeration. So we don't do ice cream, for example, because it's gonna melt immediately. Yeah, and it's up to the client as well to select whatever food requirements they want. So it could be, even if they want, for example, like a barbecue, we can do that as well. But it depends on the situation. And we also accommodate dietary requirements. So it's really basically customized per each picnic event.
So essentially, you don't make anything. You just partner with local partners.
We partner with local partners and we style the food.
Great. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that.
No problem. And with each picnic as well, we do offer some kind of like a complimentary item as well. So right now we're offering like a tasting charcuterie board and also an organic non-alcoholic drink as well.
Great. Sounds
Yeah.
fantastic. Our second question on the chat comes from Lara. And she's asking, how were you able to implement the social distancing in the picnics?
So we only cater right now for 2 to 8 people. And basically we try to cater towards the same people within the same household or same bubble. But we also cater for, like, after the stay-at-home order is done, we also do group picnics for, like, if you're out with your families or friends, if you're like doing a bridal shower, baby shower, for example. But we try to create the social distancing. So our table is large enough so we can actually space people together. So we can create that. And also when you're outdoors as well, it helps with the social distancing. And as I said, it's always based on intimate experiences that are within the same bubble or people who are very comfortable with each other. Yeah.
Fantastic. Sounds great.
Yeah. And we also do take the COVID situation very seriously. So we sanitize, we make sure everything is clean, we provide sanitizing items, and like everything has to be thoroughly cleaned and inspected. So we do cater for that, and we are always like wearing masks if we're setting up. We wear gloves when we deal with food. Everything has to be according to the rules and regulations that the health guidelines offer and ask us to do.
Absolutely. Sounds great. Now, the third question here is from Raphael. He's saying, I'd like to know how Juwana promotes her business. So if you can tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, that's a good question. So promoting my business first started with word of mouth. People would just take a look and they would just spread it. We also are active on social media nowadays. When we first started, we were just doing it privately because we weren't thinking of expanding and offering our services to a larger population, just because we were trying to create intimate experiences and we were so involved with that. But now we are actually on social media, we're doing marketing campaigns, we're dealing with other collaborators as well. So it's going to be promoted very well for the summer as well. And we also do with referral clients a lot. So that's how we've been able to do a lot of our businesses. So clients refer each other, neighborhoods refer, and people just see us and they're curious and then they book with us, essentially. Yeah. So they always go to
yeah, the power of word of mouth, eh?
Yeah, that started, and then we realized, like, okay, we can actually tackle social media and go from there. That's why you didn't hear about us before, because we weren't on social media. It was all word of mouth, but now we moved on, and we're hoping to like expand properly on social media as well.
Perfect. I don't see any new questions, so everyone here, feel free, don't be shy. I do have a question though, while everyone else thinks of their own question. And my question is around weather. How do you deal with Canadian weather? Because a picnic normally will be outside. So how do you manage in wintertime?
Well, we did a lot of picnics in the winter, believe it or not, with the snow. Yeah, if you take a look at our Instagram page or like Facebook or TikTok, you'll actually see some of our videos and pictures of actual picnic installations that we did. And it was like in the snow. We actually love the snow. Like there's no time where you can't have a picnic. Even once we had a picnic in the forest and suddenly it just rained. Like the weather forecast said it was not raining. And then when we went on site and we were establishing our food, it just rained. And we found it to be extremely magical because it added some kind of like an enchanting vibe to our picnic. My clients didn't mind it. It was beautiful, and it works nicely. Like you can't really expect the weather in Ottawa, and we just deal with it. Sometimes if it's like actual bad weather, we always try to keep a plan B, and basically it would be moved indoors, or it would move like into a place where it has like a shaded structure, essentially. But there's always got to be a plan B with our picnics, just in case something happens.
That tells us about mitigation strategies. So good to note. Good to know. Okay, we have another question now. So, well, more than a question, I think it's a comment. Lara saying she had the same concept back home at the winery. People were gathering at the small forest next to it, and she's saying great job, and that you have a very
you.
nice website. And then we have another question from Kais. Do you use subtractors with things like accounting, marketing, or others?
So right now our business is very small. So we're not really hiring any kind of accounting and subcontractors. That's basically my work. I'm dealing with all of the admin, creative work, and all of that. But we deal with, as I said, we deal with vendors as sub-consultants for like our services. And I also have a staff that helps me with carrying items and basically preparing the setups. Because as I said, my custom wood table is quite large, so I need people to help me carry it. So it basically takes around 3 people to carry my picnic table, essentially, and like set up and everything. Because we have like such limited time, so we need to be as efficient as possible because our picnics are very elaborate. So we need to be as quick as possible, and that's why when you have more people, it helps as well.
Fabulous. Now, they're asking here, do you use QuickBooks for accounting?
So I haven't used QuickBooks yet. I've been using other softwares like Wave, and there's also another program as well. It's called Honeybook that we're going to be using as well. So there's a lot of different softwares here and there, and we try to also like deal with an accountant as well when it comes to like filing in the future as well. So there's a lot of logistics that need to be managed on our end. Essentially.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Yeah, so softwares keep on changing, and we just always see what works best for us, and that's how we move forward, essentially.
Excellent. Next question comes from Karen. Due to the nature of your business providing food, how have you navigated the insurance aspect of your business?
So in terms of food, because I'm not doing the food, so it's basically the catering groups and restaurants, they're the ones who are insured for the food. So I just take the food from them, put it on the table, and the client comes in and basically eats. And when we style the food, the client accepts that we just plate the food for them. So they already signed for that, and they know that we're actually handling it, and they're seeing us as well while we're doing it. So in that aspect, all of the food is insured by the catering groups who are licensed, of course, and the restaurants, essentially. So they take all the care with the handling, because as we all know that food has to be prepared in a commercial kitchen if it's cooked. So all of these logistics, I leave it to them, and then I just take the orders and then prepare it on the table and set everything for them.
Perfect. I think
So
that actually brings it. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. So it's prepackaged, and then we just put it on and we make it look good.
Perfect. So yeah, I think that brings us to our next question from Lara, actually. She's saying, do they deliver it directly to the picnic site? So do you get it beforehand or just at the place and you plate it there? How do you do that?
So it depends really on the picnic. If it's close by, we do. It really depends, honestly. Like sometimes we pick up the food from the vendors. So there's a lot of delivery back and forth, and I've been doing a lot of that. But we're also looking for ways to have the restaurants delivered to us as well. It's just a bit challenging because like when you're in the middle of the forest, it's hard to navigate and find our location if we're not sending everybody the location map. So we usually try to get everything from their end, and then we just put it on site, essentially. I think that's better for logistics as well.
Yeah. For sure. Excellent.
Yeah, because then the prices would be really high because everyone is going to be putting delivery fees, and sometimes they do, but then it just gets crazy overboard because everybody has to accommodate for their own fees.
Absolutely. Okay, any other questions on the chat? I don't see any. You still have a chance, everyone. Over to you, Tanisha.
Thank you. That was great. I really appreciate that. Okay, so I'm about to share more of the details of where you can find Juwana on social media. And but before that, I do want to do something that I've seen in other sort of virtual networking spaces. It's almost like an ask and a delivery to the community. So given that you're all here, we're all going to imagine ourselves as contributors to the immigrant entrepreneurship community. And so with that, I want us to do this. Let me just show you here. Bear with me. Oopsies. So you're almost going to do a pitch in the chat. You're going to say, you know, what your business is, who you help, and how you can be reached. So go ahead in the chat if you feel like you want to connect with other people in the immigrant entrepreneurship community. Let us know what your business is. Let us know who you help or how you help, and provide an email, your website, and opportunity for people to connect with you. So I'll leave a few moments for everyone to do that. And then I'll share all the socials for our One Hub, Ottawa Newcomer Entrepreneurship Hub, where you can learn more about our programs and services, how you can connect to them, and how you can reach us on our social media networks as well. So what your business is, who you help or how you help, and how people can reach you. And then feel free to take a screenshot of this. These are all the places you can connect with us. I know everybody has their preference. Some people like LinkedIn, some people like Facebook. So just highlight the one that you like the most. And you'll always have it on hand. We'd love to connect with you. There's an upcoming training session, as Grace mentioned earlier, and she will talk more about that as we close. It's a great opportunity to learn more about what it is to be an entrepreneur in Ottawa specifically, and in Canada as a whole. I know some of you have already participated in those, and I'm really excited to see you today. It's been a while.
We have one more question in the chat. Is it still good time?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Great. This one is from Ilse. Juwana, she's asking, how long are the picnics?
So our picnics are rented for 2 hours, but if you need more time, we can also add that for you at an additional charge. I think 2 hours is a good time for a picnic because you're sitting on the floor, like with the cushions and all. So having more time would be great if you had like a special event or you had something going on. But I think 2 hours is good. We also offer overnight picnics as well. If you're looking to do like cottage rentals, if you're having like a proposal or a romantic getaway, we can also offer that as well. So it really depends on the client and what they want, essentially.
I love that. I have so many ideas in my head that could go. Love to do that.
Yeah, well, I'd love to have you.
Wow. Yeah, it sounds incredibly magical, very enchanting. And you said sushi earlier, and I was just like, yes, sign me up.
Yeah, had a very successful event this weekend for a bubble. It was for a family bubble, and they had a daughter, and she was turning 30. So she really loved sushi and seafood and all of that stuff. So I worked with one of Ottawa's best sushi chefs, and we created something really special for her. She was so happy to see it. In fact, when she first saw it, she's like, oh my God, sushi. She's like, I love this. Yeah, and I'm like, I'm so happy to do this for her. Yeah.
I love that. Oh, those moments, they're incredible. Oh my goodness.
That's what makes it worth it, honestly. It's worth all of those extra hours, the time, the effort, the managing. There's so much that goes behind a picnic design. Like, people don't understand that it's basically an event planning service that we do, but in a form of a luxury picnic. And it's just, it's something that really makes me happy to offer Ottawa, honestly. Yeah.
That's incredible. Yes, Ottawa needed something like this. Absolutely.
I think it deserves it.
Yeah.
We actually have a question in the chat box related to that. So Lara is asking if you need to get an event planning certificate to do what you're doing.
I don't think so, no, because we're only doing something very intimate. We're not doing large events. No.
Okay.
No, we're not dealing with equipment. We're not dealing with anything of high hazard. So we don't need that. No. And we're not renting any venues. Basically, if someone wants to rent a venue, they would have to make sure they rent that place for them. And if there are any fees, they would have to make sure that these items are accounted for and planned for. We only provide the rental service, essentially, which is basically renting the whole picnic decor, the furniture, the styling, the design is included with us. And basically, we're managing with vendors to make this happen, essentially. Yeah.
So related to that question then, Juwana, what happens if, let's say, the client has a specific site that they would like the picnic to occur, and on the day that you want to go there, somebody is using it? Has that ever happened?
No, it happened because I like to not give specifics to my clients when it comes to the location. I like to give a broad,
Okay.
and then I pick the spot because I've scouted a lot of locations.
Okay.
And there's always room for a picnic. So Ottawa is not short of any locations. There's a lot of,
Yes.
especially in
Yeah.
the park. There are lots of options, Grace.
Yeah, we're known for our green spaces, so you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have another question as well. I'm delaying just in case you want a sip of water or something. Well, I guess you're fasting, so that's true. The question is, do you set up gift certificates? Do you have gift cards?
This is something I'm actually planning to do.
Ooh.
That would be a great idea to incorporate with Runaway Picnics as a gift for someone to experience. We did offer, I remember once I had someone ask me to offer them like a gift card voucher, and I did. But I wasn't marketing this or doing it as a public thing. So it was a very special request. And I did that. Like, he paid for the picnic service. And essentially it was like transferred into a coupon that was given over to someone. Yeah. But this is something that I'm thinking of doing as well. Yeah, it's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we also want to know, is your setup and decorations, are they disposable? And what would be the average rate for a picnic for about 6 people?
So nothing is disposable. Everything is, we like to maintain a sustainable approach with our business. We care about the environment and we're very sustainable. And again, disposable items is not a luxury experience. Like, you don't want to see plastics. We don't deal with plastics. We deal with high quality china and cutlery. Everything is like an 18 out of 10 stainless steel grade in terms of the cutlery. So that's like high end. And we even like have marble tops for our food to be placed on. So like marble platters, porcelain. We deal with a lot of, since I'm a designer as well, so I know a lot of the products that are out there, right? So I specify things that are of good quality and like things that work well with food as well. So I use these products as well with my picnics. Now, in terms of what you're getting, so you're going to be getting a rental for like where you're having floral arrangements. So these will be either silk or dried floral arrangements. There's an option for you to also have fresh flower arrangements or something customized as well, but that would be the extra charge because, you know, florals are actually very expensive. So that has to be catered for. And there's also the rental of the items, the furniture, the setup, the design, planning, logistics, delivery, setup, and also managing my staff who are helping me around. So all of these are taken into account with the picnic. And I was able to create packages that are very affordable in terms of like, if you compare it to like an event planner in the city or like a wedding planner, these charge a lot of money because there's a lot of stuff going on back and forth. And so I felt like I wanted to create something that would be best for people to digest, maybe, especially now with the pandemic. So my picnic packages, they start right now. And this is something that I've launched because to anticipate people and excite people. So they start from $2.99 for a picnic for two. And that includes like the whole picnic setup with the decor, the logistics, delivery setup. And it also includes a tasting charcuterie board and a bottle of organic sparkling drink. And it can be placed anywhere in the city. So like you can have it in the forest if you want, or the beach. And this is like for a range with, near South Keys here, Ottawa. But if it's like beyond and it's too far away, there are extra charges for like delivery and setup because they're too far away. Now for extra additional person, it's a fixed $50 extra per person for now. But everything is on our website, so you can take a look. And obviously prices will be changing depending on the season. So right now we're coming up to the summer season, so things are going to be different probably. And there are lots of things. So all of our terms and conditions are on our website. And when you book with us, we send you an invoice and a contract, and everything is highlighted so that you can actually understand what's going on. We like to make sure there's a lot of transparency, and it's good on our end because we like to be very open with people. And also we prefer a very open, honest relationship with clients.
Wow, that's incredible. Thank you for all that that amazing detail. So we're gearing up to wrap up. Again, thank you for taking the time, especially during Ramadan, to be here with us and share all the exciting things that you're doing with your business. I'm going to hand it over back to Grace to do some closing, and thanks to all of you for being here and participating. Hope to see you at the next event.
Thank you so much for having me.